Welcome to Warhammer 40k Dataslate Review. I'm the Twin Coot, and in this video we'll be taking a look at the Adeptus Mechanicus unit, the Tech Priest Enginseer.
Dataslate Review.
Next up on our coverage of Adeptus Mechanicus units is the humble Tech Priest Enginseer. An HQ model is not unique to AdMech, but it fits right into the aesthetic of the army. I'm not really going to cover the model's uses in the Astra Militarum with this video. This Dataslate review is strictly the model's uses in the AdMech force. But the main idea behind the model still holds true with the Imperial Guard. The Tech Priest Enginseer isn't winning any awards with any of their stats, but let's go through them quickly anyway. Starting with 6-inch movement, pretty standard for infantry. Next up we have durability, toughness 4, 4 wounds, 3 up save, and a 6+ invulnerable save. The model is, of course, a character, so it can avoid getting hit by some enemy shooting as long as it stays back slightly. Offensively, the model is anything but impressive. With a ballistic and weapon skill of 4+, pistol for a ranged weapon, and only 2 attacks in combat, the Enginseer will be struggling to do any damage. It does have 2 melee weapons, the Omniscient Axe and the Servo Arm. The Servo Arm grants 1 attack at increased strength and damage, but decreases to hit rolls by 1 like most other fist weapons. Most of the time the Enginseer should be sticking to the axe if it does get in combat. 2 strength 5 attacks, AP 2, 2 damage is the best this priest is doing. The main purpose for this model is its special rule called Master Machines. This one is used at the end of the movement phase within 3 inches of a vehicle previously wounded. Restore D3 wounds back to that vehicle. All the HQ models in AdMech have this rule or a version of it, but this one just so happens to be the cheapest. As of Chapter Approved 2018, the Tech Priest Enginseer is merely 30 points, making it one of the cheapest HQs in the Imperium, which is quite an accolade. Usually you'll be taking your Enginseer to fill out your HQ slots when you don't want to spring for a Dominus or Manipulus. While it wouldn't really take the model if I didn't have to, the ability to repair models is a good enough support ability to not feel like it's a complete tax. Keeping them near your Dune Crawlers, Ballistari, and Castellan robots will be the goal. The Enginseer can even help repair Knights. It may just be a single wound, but can still be helpful. Enginseers are also good for creating a null deploy zone. Putting 1 9 inches from each corner of the board to push off deep strikers will keep them useful. You likely won't need to repair first turn, and if you did, you can always move the priest into range of the vehicle. Like I said before, I'm skipping the Astra Militarum special rules and just focusing on AdMech abilities. And starting with Warlord traits and relics, there are a couple we can attach to our HQ model. Necromechanic is a nice boost for our repair ability. This one increases the amount of wounds restored using Master Machines by 1, meaning on your AdMech vehicles you're restoring up to 4 wounds, and on a Knight you're getting 2 wounds back. This will be a pretty decent boost to the model's abilities. While we're on the topic of repairs, I'm also going to bring up the relic that enhances the ability. Auto Caduceus of Archon Land will allow you to reroll the D3 when repairing a unit. In addition, it will heal a wound back to the bearer. The other relic that is pretty good for the Enginseer is the Omniscient Mask. This one gives the model a 6-inch aura that allows Skitarii models to reroll hit rolls in combat. This one is interesting because it specifically uses the Skitarii keyword instead of the normal Forge World one, meaning any Enginseer can hold this and benefit any nearby Skitarii models, not just ones in the same Forge World. The main benefactor of this item are Dragoons. Dragoons are AdMech's most solid combat unit, and they just so happen to be Skitarii. Getting the reroll hits is awesome and really increases the Dragoon's abilities. The main Warlord trait to take on the Enginseer is the Monitor Malevolus. As long as the bearer is on the table, the AdMech player can roll a d6 each time a stratagem is used. On a 6, they gain a CP. Since the changes to CP regen earlier in 2018, this means the player is getting only 1 back a battle round. but since the changes, the monitor has become one of the better CP regen items since it lets you reroll for both players, making it pretty likely you'll be getting your CP each round. Unless your army really doesn't care about command points, I would always recommend the Monitor Malevolus. Even getting 1 or 2 extra CP makes this trait worthwhile. Next to cover are the Stratagems, and there are really only 2 that work well with our HQ model. Tech Adept will allow the Enginseer to repair a second time in the same movement phase. Use this to mitigate a bad roll on repairs or just top off of damaged vehicle. Combined with Necromechanic and or the Autocaduceus of Archon Land, the Enginseer will be able to easily repair even a fully damaged vehicle. Even Knights will be enjoying a 4 wound Spitshine. This stratagem is one of the reasons I strongly prefer Monitor Malevolus to Necromechanic. I think if you just got that 1 CP back, it could be used on Tech Adept, which overshadows an extra wound back from Necromechanic. If you don't care about the repair, save the CP for something else. The other stratagem to mention is a bit less useful, but should still be applicable in certain situations. Data Spike is a forgettable stratagem that may reward you for keeping it in the back of your mind. After dealing a wound to a vehicle, the model can immediately swing again to deal D3 mortal wounds to that same vehicle. It kinda stinks you would have to rely on a 4+ to hit for this to go off, but this is a sort of a last resort option anyway. Use it when you somehow manage to wound a knight or other important vehicle, but left it with 1 or 2 wounds. Moving on to Forge World, the Tech Priest Enginseer will be gaining access to dogmas, as well as unique Warlord traits, artifacts, and stratagems. But for the Tech Priest, mostly just the traits will be pertinent. If you were to take the Metallica Forge World, you'd gain access to a neat little trait that bestows a 6-inch aura that allows friendly units to fall back and shoot, albeit at -1 to hit. This is a great ability and would be very helpful for a lot of our heavy shooting units that get shut down from just being engaged in combat. The huge limitation here is that the rest of the Metallica rules are some pretty underwhelming buffs. And while this rule is awesome and makes AdMech more versatile, having it on a 6-inch bubble that is lost as soon as the Warlord is lost is quite a risk. The other Warlord trait I want to mention is another great rule with the same drawback. Making your detachment hail from Graia will grant another unique trait. Another 6-inch bubble that lets models affected shoot their rapid fire or assault weapons in combat. Pretty cool for our Skitarii infantry, with or without the plasma or arc special weapons. The models that really like this rule are Corpuscari Electro Priests. Even if they start the turn engaged, they will be pumping out 5 attacks per model, not to mention any extra attacks from triggering their taser rule. As a final note on this one, remember that it specifies models and not units, so only the models in 6 inches are affected. Really, which Forge World you choose has little to nothing to do with the Enginseer. Just try to get the most out of the one you choose. In an Imperium army, the Enginseer fills out the cheapest battalion at the faction's disposal. Even cheaper than the Loyal 32, the Rusty 17 does sacrifice some of the versatility of the Guardsmen. Less bodies and no orders means the Rusty 17 are pretty lazy in the tabletop, but at least their basic weapons pack a bit stronger punch than the lasguns. If backed up by Astra Militarum or Imperial Knights, the Enginseer could lend a hand in repairing both types of vehicles, another small bonus. The Tech Priest Enginseer receives a 3 out of 5. While just about every AdMech army will include the model because of its amazing price point, it still doesn't offer much beyond the HQ slot. What do you think of the Tech Priest Enginseer? What unit would you like to see reviewed next on the channel? Leave your suggestions, thoughts, and questions in the comments below, and thanks for watching.